Okay guys, so I'm at it again. But what I discovered from doing a little bit more research is I really don't need to take this off, this nut right here off, because that's not going to do any good. This is only for that blower fan. So this is what blows the lint out, and that's not going to do me any good. So what I discovered is I might have to take the drum itself out. So if I take this entire unit out, then I'll be able to get back there and do some work that I really want to get done. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to loosen these screws and try to get the drum out and see what happens after that. It looks like a lot of work, but it's something I think that I can handle. So if this is not your cup of tea, I wouldn't advise it. But if you feel like doing a little hands-on work, then go at it. I wasted a lot of time yesterday trying to get that nut off, and I realized today that that's not going to get me anywhere. So I'm glad I didn't actually went out and get the liquid wrench, because it wouldn't have done me any good anyway. So yes, I'm going to take these screws off and see what happens. Okay, so I've loosened all the 4 screws that was holding this thing in place. Okay, so I was able to take this part off. It just pulls up and come right off. And one thing I noticed, there's lint everywhere, so I might have to give this thing a good clean down before I start putting it back together. I've got this part off. Now I got to get the drum out of here, and it seems like it just come right out, so I got to use a little two-hand maneuver right here. So this is the belt that actually drives the drum, that spins it around. It looks like it's well intact. There's no problem with it. So the problem came from the little part that broke off. So the good news is it looked like the motor is intact, and I think it's okay. I don't think there's any damage to it. So these pieces that broke off is the parts that actually make the drum spin around, and that's the problem right here. But it looks like something I can fix myself. So the people who was trying to fix my dryer was trying to charge me at least $300 to get it done. I mean, it was already $150 for them to just come out here and look at it. So the amount of money that they were charging me to get it fixed just didn't worth me actually fixing it, because the cost was much higher than what I paid for it. So basically I was upside down on a dryer, just like you're upside down on a car loan. Okay, so for all of those who ever wonder what inside of their dryer looks like, this is what it is. It has one big giant hole, and then there's the motor that powers the drum to make it spin around, and then there's the blower fan. That's actually what blows out the lint to go outside and the hot air and stuff like that. And this is the heating element. This is what creates the heat to actually start drying your clothes. And then the heat comes out through that hole right there. If you look in your back of your dryer, you always see these little mesh holes. Well, this feeds it through this tube, and then it comes out through that vent right there. So this is how your dryer works. Just some basic parts to actually keep it going. The drum that I took out, where you actually put your clothes in, sits on these rollers. So these 2 wheels, and there's 2 more for the front. And that's sitting on top of that thing right there, the cover that I took off earlier. And these are the other 2 that sits in the front. They're sitting on that cover that I took off earlier. And there's the drum right there. So based on further inspection, I tried to turn these rollers over here, and I noticed they're frozen. It's not moving as freely as it should. While this one just spins. You see how freely this one spins? And this one is not spinning freely. And the motor was trying to struggle to keep the thing going, while this thing right here that sits on this thing eventually broke off because it couldn't handle the stress anymore. It was a catastrophe in the making. From what I've seen, is poor craftsmanship, but you know, I'm not going to argue with Samson because I don't think I'm getting anywhere on that one. Okay, so here's the situation. The wheel that's frozen, I used some silicone spray on it to loosen it up. First I took it off, and then I sprayed off the shaft that it was sitting on, and then I sprayed some inside the wheel also. It's not a bearing wheel, it's just a wheel that sits there. So I'm assuming the reason why it got froze up is the fact that lint was getting in between the wheel and the actual shaft. Now that wheel sits close to the vent, where it vents out all the bad stuff out, you know, the lint and stuff like that. So I'm assuming after time it just accumulated. So what I did is I actually sprayed the rest of the wheels, just give them some silicone spray. They were already free moving. That was the only one that was actually stuck. So once I loosen it up, now it spins freely. Okay, so this is the little clip that's actually holding the wheel in place. So all you have to do is pull it up on one side and pull the other side up, and then it comes off, and then you can take the wheel off. So that's what I did. I took the wheel off, and then I tried to clean off the shaft. get all that crud and stuff that build up around it. So what I did with the wheel now is I string the cloth through there like this and pull it through, try to get it cleaned out as best as I can. Pull it back. This is not a bearing, it's just a regular metal piece. And then spray some silicone spray on it. And then put it back on. Get it free folding. And put the clip back on. There's some grooves that this clip sit into, so you just gently push it down and you will hear it snap. Just like that. So that's what I did for the wheel, and that's how I got them off. It spins more freely. Easy peasy. But now it looks like I gotta order that part that actually broke off, because it doesn't seem that I can just patch it up and put it back together. So I'm gonna go online and find out where I can get that pulley from and just order it. And then once I get it, I'll just put this whole thing back together. But at least I found the root of the problem, and it seemed like a simple fix. I did look online earlier today and I found out there's a kit, but the kit involves all the wheels and the pulley. And I don't need the wheels, I just need the pulley part. So I'm gonna look again and see if I find just the pulley. Okay, so that's gonna be it for part 2 of this video. I can't do anything else right now until I get that pulley. So once I get that pulley, I will do the final video of me actually putting this thing back together and powering it up and make sure it works. Okay, so that's gonna be it for now. Thanks for taking the time for watching it. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a good one.